Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zara and today I'm going to be talking about what I read in the month of September and what I'm planning to read in the month of October. I'll be honest, I didn't read that much in September because I was traveling in Singapore. I had an absolutely amazing time. It was incredible, honestly. It's such a beautiful country with beautiful people and a beautiful approach to life. And I had a really, really great time. The downside of that, though, is that I did absolutely no reading. I wasn't even watching anything either. That entire 10 days, I was just so kind of absorbed with where I was, and it was an incredible experience. So I didn't read as much as I typically read, but without further ado, let's jump into the books that I did get to. So I did finish off Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb in the month of September. I did start it at the end of August, so there was a little bit of an overlap, but I read the majority of the book in September, which I finished off in the first couple of days. Assassin's Apprentice I gave a 5 stars. I then picked up the second book in the Farseer trilogy, which goes by the name of Royal Assassin, and I really, really enjoyed it. I gave that a 5 stars as well. I am planning to do a dedicated review for each book with a spoiler and a non-spoiler part. So watch this space for that. But I just loved it. I was completely consumed by it. I really like the direction that the series is going in, and it was very addictive to read. I then picked up the buddy read pick of the month, and I have to say, was not it. And I am planning to do a dedicated video on this book, even though I didn't finish the book, because I think it deserves some separated thoughts on it. And that was The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. I was so excited to read this book because I'd heard so many great things about this book, particularly about the writing and particularly about the politics and the character development. But I have to say it fell flat pretty much on every single front. But watch this space for my review. I didn't give it a review because I only got up to about 45%, which is actually half the book. But if I had to give it a rating, it'd be like a 1.5 stars. It was that bad of an experience. The next book I read was an ARC that I received from the author. So shout out to the author for giving me an ARC. And this is an author that I have read before, and I was very excited to read this book. And that is New York Minutes by Stephen Iron. Stephen Iron's writing is a style of writing that I really enjoy, and this was quite different to the previous book of his that I have read. It is a low fantasy, I mean, it doesn't have a ton of fantasy in it now that I think about it, but very, very, very low fantasy, even though it reads like a fantasy novel. And it's set in New York. It's got a kind of urban fantasy kind of vibe to it, despite the fact that there isn't much fantasy in it. Really, really enjoyed it. Really, really liked following the main character. I'm really excited to hear that Stephen is actually going to write more in this world, and I think he's going to do a series of novellas, which I'm so excited for because I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I gave New York Minute 4 stars. I then picked up 2 books that I haven't finished yet. So I have been listening to the audiobook version of The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy, which I've been really enjoying. I go for early morning walks, and sometimes I don't like to listen to anything, sometimes I do. And when I do, I listen to The Mayor of Casterbridge. At this point in time, I'm only about 40% of the way through. I'm aiming to finish it in the month of October, but honestly, who knows at this point. And then I also picked up Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb, which if I hadn't have gone traveling, I would have finished by now. But because I didn't read anything during my entire time in Singapore, I'm pretty behind schedule. I'm about 30% of my way through the book. And so far, it's been quite an interesting experience. I'm not going to say more than that, but I will definitely aim to finish that in the first week of October. So very kind of fantasy focused month, a mixed bag, I would say. But I have to say overall, my experience with the Farseer trilogy has been amazing so far. In terms of what I'm planning to read in the month of October, so first thing I need to finish off is Assassin's Quest, which I'm hoping to finish off in the first week of October, but we'll see. Then I also really, really want to read one of the Russian authors. I was planning to read Fathers and Children last month, but I didn't get to it, unfortunately. So I'm planning to read that this month. As part of my Patreon buddy read, we'll either be reading The Reformatory by Tananarive Jew, which was a book that was put on my radar by, I think it might have been James in the channel. And I bought the book anyway, regardless of whether we're going to read it for the Patreon buddy read, because it sounds absolutely fascinating. And I really want to read it in the month of October, especially given spooky horror season is incoming. So I'll definitely be picking that up. And then If that doesn't get selected as the picture of buddy read, I'll also be reading Cujo by Stephen King, because right now they're both pretty much drawing. So we'll give it another couple more days, and if we don't decide to read the Reformatory, we'll definitely read Cujo. And then also I would like to read, if I'm able to fit it in, Never Nights by Jay Kristoff. I've been planning this video for so long and I just haven't been able to get to this book for so long for some bizarre reason. Maybe it's the universe telling me not to read it. I don't know. But I'm planning it for a video that I'm filming, and so I really want to read that this month. I was also planning to read it last month, but I just did not get to it. So there is that. And then I will also be reading the first Fireborn book as a buddy read as well. We're planning to read one book a month for the next quarter. So I'll definitely pick up Fireborn as well. So a very fantasy focused month, I would say, with a little bit of other genres. I'd also really like to read Silence by Shisaku Endo, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to it. Like, I'd like to read a Russian author and a Japanese author this month, but honestly, who knows at this point what I'm going to get to. So that's a very kind of speculative TBR. I have no clue whether I'm going to get to any of these books, but I'm going to try my absolute hardest to, because there's so many books that I didn't read last month that I'm now moving into this month that I really want to get to. So that's it for me. Let me know down below what books you read in the month of September. Were there any particular hits for you, and what are you planning to read in the month of October? I'll see you down below in the comments, folks. As always, lovely to see you. I'll see you in my next video. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.